TD King,
Jacob Dalton Horn.
Jacob Dalton.
And Mitch Baltazar.
This was Mitch's idea. I blame him. Actually, it was a good idea to talk about. People don't, and we were just talking about it. People don't understand or expect the upfront pre-construction costs that they're hit with, which are not having to do with any specific general contractor. It's just costs that you're going to have to plan on if you're going to build your own home that are probably unknowns. And so to kick it off, we've got a list here that Jacob Dalton put together talking about the permits, the permit packages that we would typically assume would be submitted to your county, city, depending on where you're at, prior to receiving approval to build. And the first one that stands out to me is the first step here for us in Washington State, Pierce County, is the well permit, WADI, or the water availability. That's the first thing we have to typically do is drill a well and have it tested before they will even look at our drawings. I forget how much we paid for that. Like $2,000.
Yeah, it's about
Like
$2,000 to
not for the wells, really,
$3,000.
but
Yeah, for the septic design, and typically your septic designer will also locate your well on your site. It's one service that comes from one company. They'll go out there and do the design for the septic, depending on if you're doing on-site sewage or if you're making a connection to the city sewer.
And in this county, what was it? 100 feet. The septic had to be away from the well.
It's a 100-foot radius.
Yeah, 100-foot radius.
What property?
Rocky Bay.
I think that's everyone. That's just Tacoma Health Department standard is a 100-foot setback. There is,
and we also had a setback to the water, I think, for the waterfront.
Yeah, the setback from the water was
septic to
50,
the water.
50.
And I think that was dependent on the soil, because right.
Well, I think in this case it was based on the critical environment, the wetland and the shoreline. They wanted a 50-foot setback from that.
So there's some good things there. In this one, septic was about $2,000. I think the well cost us like $15,000 to have drilled.
Yep, approximately 12.
And water test wasn't expensive, but that water test had to be submitted and approved before we could get our permits even looked at.
And your well driller will typically be the one that grabs a sample, and he has that inclusive of his cost for the well drilling is to provide samples to the health department and gets the lab to test them and provides those results to the health department.
Yeah.
So the well will cost more than connecting to city water, I'm assuming.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and obviously you don't have a monthly bill, but it does cost more. So in this case, there was in Rocky Bay there was a community well that was available, but we opted to drill our own, as opposed to having community well and have somebody else manage that.
Yeah.
And pay into it. What would be based on the contract that we were going to sign, it was a fluctuating fee that we just didn't want to be at somebody else's beck and call. So in that one, we decided to drill our own. So that's water. So the second thing after water is going to be they'll start to review your building permit. But we've already got our site development permit in review, right?
Yeah, it's been in review and it's just pending. It's the big one on this one was just the driveway approach, the access off of the main highway to our property and where it lied. That was kind of the difficult thing.
And on that one, for those of you building near a highway, the issue with building near a highway is that the DOT does not like to put new access points on the highway. It can create some traffic issues for them. In this case, we had a highway access point or exit point, so that was touched our property, so we didn't have to have an additional DOT access point. So that made it easier. But that can be a problem if you're on a highway. So you got site development permit. And that site development permit has been submitted. That's going to show everything, your house, where the house lies in conjunction to your septic, well, parking, your water catchment system, all that stuff is on there. Now we're waiting for the building permit, right, to be approved.
Yeah, the building permits have been accepted and approved. It's all pending
The water.
the site
Right,
development
DOT.
permit being released, and that was the access issue. So that's all been cleared up.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving forward on that. But a couple other things for the site development permit to kind of just keep in the back of your mind that additional services that may need to be rendered is civil engineering services. Those guys will provide your site development permit, and that's for your clearing, grubbing the site, your stormwater retention and treatment, any pervious or impervious surfaces, and then site stabilization for when you're actually, ripping soil up, how to take care of those items. And then, another service that may pop up is the geotechnical engineer, is somebody that you'll have to hire to go out and take soil samples or provide recommendations so that your structural engineer can design your footings, the foundation for your entire building, and that usually runs a few $1,000 for them to go out there and do that service.
Yeah. Then we've got on here driveway approach for us. That was simple because we're just doing a permeable pervious material. Yeah.
Pervious gravel driveway.
So it didn't count against our impervious numbers.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is just gravel. And it was a short run, so it wasn't a big deal. Fire flow credits for our area. Fire flow credits can be a big deal. So you have to get 100 points. We got 45 points, I think, because we're under 2,000 square feet.
Yep.
So right off the bat, we had almost half of them, and then the other ones you can go down the list in our area by doing concrete siding. What is that stuff called?
It's a cementitious siding material. It will count towards your credits.
Yeah, non-flammable.
The type of roofing material you select goes towards your credits.
Type of drywall.
The type of drywall for the hour rating on the interior. And, one of the cheapest ways, our final option that we decided to go with was a kitchen fire suppression system, just a single sprinkler head in the kitchen over the range. It was 15% of our credit points, and that kind of got us where we needed to be. And this is typically only applied when you're developing a piece of property where there's not water availability. If you're, for instance, drilling a well, you'll probably have to meet these fire flow credits unless there's a hydrant nearby. So in residential lots that are in the city, typically fire and fire hydrants are available. So you may not need to meet the fire flow credits, but some counties are implementing that you have to put full fire sprinkler systems in residential homes. It's kind of moving that direction, it seems like.
So then we got electrical permit. Those are usually pulled by the electrician. And site electrical, that's bringing in the electrical from the street.
Yeah.
Who typically handles that?
That'll typically be the local municipality controlling the power in that area. In this case, on Rocky Bay, it's Peninsula Light and Power. So they'll come out and they'll do a quick survey and figure out where the closest power is that you can pull out from. If there's a transformer on a pole that's nearby, they'll typically, and there's room on that pole to just drop a line down to the ground. And then they'll either decide to put a dedicated transformer on your property, or just run a line into your property, and then your electrician will take it from there and run it into the house. That's a big one. I mean, the big three on pretty much any property that you can expect to see is going to be fire or water, sewer, and electrical. Power are the three guaranteed.
Yeah, and that hits kind of the big picture stuff. A lot of this stuff, like Rocky Bay is a good example. We've been waiting on various things. So we got through the water testing and had that tested. That was kind of a holdup. And then we started moving through our permits, but we had to handle the DOT access. So there's been little hiccups here and there, and granted we have other projects that we're working on as well, so this isn't the only one going, but that did delay us to today. So it's been several months, I think, that we've had our drawings and all of our stuff in there and submitted, and we've just been working through one or the other issue. So you can expect delays. Basically.
You can expect delays with the county reviews. It does. It's not something that goes quickly. It never
unless you're in Nye County.
Yeah.
In Nye County, for those of you listening who don't know, there is no planning department, so you can just build whatever you want as long as it's not commercial or under 4 units. Under 4 units.
More than 4 units.
If it's not more than 4 units, or if it's more than 4 units, you got to get a permit. Or if it's commercial, it needs a permit. But yeah, it's interesting. And one other thing we wanted to hit on before you let go, if there's any questions, by all means, please ask, and Jake will answer all of them. We're talking about the fees. People are surprised by the fees, and these aren't fees that MACNAC charges. It's just any design fees. And the way we kind of quickly explain it to people is the level of design input you need is going to drive your cost up, which probably makes complete sense to people when they're talking about having someone put all their drawings together. But how that equates to actual money is if you look at your after construction value of whatever you're building, that's usually a good ballpark. So it'd be 5% on the cheap end to 30% on the high end. And this is if you're having someone do all the designs that we've just talked about, from structural and architectural all through civil. All that stuff has to be put down on a piece of paper. And the easiest way that I tell people to remember it is at 5 to 10% is what's called your permit package. And that's when you have a designer just give you the bare nuts, what you need to get submitted to the city and start building. And a permit package is something that MACNAC would order, because we're building it ourselves, and we're gonna put the majority of the detail down ourselves. We're gonna come up with after we get on the job site, or we know what we want to build. So we're not gonna have that stuff on paper. Then 10 to 15, 20-ish% is going to be your builder's package, where you have a builder, you're not building it, but that builder needs additional information to know what he's giving you a price per square foot for, or she's giving you a price per square foot for. There's got to be a little bit more additional detail. And then the most expensive, the 20 to 30%, or even could be as low as 15%, depending on who you're building with or who you're having designed, is a bid package. And that is when you need all the details down on the paperwork to the degree where you're standing in your kitchen, you close your eyes, stand in your kitchen, you turn around, you reach for the hardware to open a drawer, and you know exactly what type of knob you're grabbing. Like that type of detail. Like you need to know down to the fine detail. And all that information has to be put on a design by a designer, by an engineer. So that takes a lot of time for those engineers to put that down, and that's going to be real expensive. But it will save you money to have a bid package, and you'll get 3 bids on each trade. So the assumption is you're going to save money on the competition between the different trades. So anyway, is that a good proximity of what people should expect on design fees?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, do you guys have anything else to add as far as permitting goes, designs go? Anything at this time?
I don't have anything to add.
All right, well, these are the permits. Just in a nutshell, you have your site development permit, your sewer or septic permit, your water availability, your building permit, of course, your driveway approach, fire flow credits if needed, your plumbing permit, electrical, and then site electrical. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or shoot us an email directly at info@macnac.com. Hopefully this kind of exposed some of the expectation when you're looking to build. Once again, subscribe if you haven't, like the video if you like the information. And stay tuned because the Rocky Bay project is our next 3-2. It's a 3-2, right?
Yeah, 3-2, yep.
3-2 project that we'll be doing a video series on. Feel free to look at our other videos for some more details. But other than that, have a great day. We're signing out now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cheers.
Cool.